Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we'll be doing another class in a series of classes on Tauras ascendant and Venus in the houses. Tonight we'll be doing Venus in the third, fourth house in Cancer. Actually, we're going to be talking about Venus in Cancer. It's actually 3 signs away from the ascendant, which will put it in the third house. But tonight I'm going to show you a horoscope of someone because of the geographical location where he was born. The horoscope, the Venus fell in the fourth house. In a situation like this, you really have to use both sometimes, right? You have to say it works sometimes for the third, sometimes it works for the fourth, sometimes a combination of the third and the fourth. We'll see it tonight in one horoscope that we're going to do. And Venus, Tauras ascendant, like we said, is a very feminine ascendant. You have to remember that Taurus is probably the most feminine ascendant of all. And therefore, it's much better in a woman's chart than a man's chart. Because a woman, her natural energy is much more Taurian. Actually, if you think about it, the male sex sign is Scorpio, right? Because the 8th house rules sexuality. It rules the sex organs, and so Adam Rishon's chart. So the 8th house would tell you about Adam Rishon, and the sexual energy comes from Scorpio. But if you look at Chava's chart, her 8th house is opposite Scorpio. It's the 2nd house, and there is Taurus. So it's the woman's sexual sign is Taurus, which makes it very, very for a woman it tends to be much better. I remember my teacher always used to say, when a Scorpio man walks into the room, all the women feel it. And when a Taurus woman walks into a room, all the men feel it. There's always this, a lot of women who have the Taurus rising have a lot of sexual energy. You feel it in their presence. So tonight, actually I'm going to do a man who has it. We've done some women already, Taurus risings. And we'll do some more as we go through the signs, and so that always energy is going to be strong. And tonight, when we're going to do Venus in a water sign, Venus here will be in Cancer tonight, usually connected with the 3rd house. So in other words, how you feel the Taurian nature wants to get fulfillment through the 3rd house in a general way, which is learning and. Again, it's the house of learning, the house of knowledge. People have a strong 3rd house. They're very, very bright. If you have in Cancer, it gives a good memory. The 3rd house. So Venus in Cancer in the 3rd house is good for it's good for community work. It's good for work in your neighbor. The 3rd house rules your environment, not your home, but the area around your home, the neighborhood. A person could be very involved in beautifying the neighborhood, right? Because you have Venus in the 3rd house. In Cancer, they could like water. They could be gardeners, watering the neighborhood, working on beautifying the neighborhood, things like that. They make excellent set. Women who have the 3rd house, Venus there, it's a good sign for secretarial type of work, all types of agents. And people who, make connections between people with Venus there, they could be, involved in making, love relations, like matchmakers. A lot of matchmakers I've seen have Venus in the 3rd house. Right? My wife, she's a matchmaker, and if I remember, she has Libra on the 10th house cusp, and she has Venus in Pisces in the 3rd house, exalted, and so, right, it makes her an excellent, Venus, there she has Libra on the midheaven, so you see there's going to be a job connected with the 7th house, and then the Venus in the 3rd, it gives us this ability to make connections, to me what they call here, metavek, an agent, matrimonial agent, like. And so you see a lot of people that work in insurance have this strong third house, or the traveling salesmen have it, or short journeys, people who work in in different things. Here we're talking about with the ascendant, so it's how the basic nature, more, there I'm giving you examples from how it manifests, say when it's connected to the ruler of the 10th house of the career. It's connected to the ruler of the 1st house, and the person, wants to bring out their 1st house nature. Let's say the 1st house wants financial security, because it's Taurus by nature, and they find the financial security through 3rd house affairs, through knowledge, learning, teaching, short journeys, the neighbors. That becomes the area of their life where they bring out this Taurian nature that we talked about before. I have one chart here that we're going to talk about now with Venus in Cancer. And the person was very famous in his day. He was an inventor. His name was Nikola Tesla. His name has become popular again as there's a new electric automobile that was named for him, the Tesla automobile, if I'm not mistaken. And he was actually, who was at his time, one of the most famous people in his generation. He was known as a typical mad scientist. He was tremendously brilliant, and also quite mad. He had a lot of so to speak, problems in his makeup. But in any case, he was a brilliant man. He was known as being a tremendous inventor. And he invented AC currency, which is still used today to power electricity in the home. And he was a discoverer of that. And his theoretical work paved the way for wireless communication and for radio and things like that. And so he was, you see in his chart, he's got Venus on the very bottom of the chart, almost exactly connected to the 4th house cusp, and in very tight conjunction to the sun, and in an exact square to the moon. And so you see both lights are connected with his ruling planet, which brings fame, especially in the end of life. Right? He's got the Venus and the sun in a tight conjunction right on the 4th house cusp. And so it made him in the second half of his life tremendously well known and important, and even after his death. The 4th house even tells you about the person after their death. It tells you about their funeral. It tells you sometimes even after their death. You see that he became very important, and that's because he has his ruling planet. They're so tightly connected in such an important place. First of all, works 100%. It's almost exactly on the 4th house cusp, and the connection with both lights, it really lights him up, right? It gives him fame and fame. And so you see there, and it's also connected because naturally it should be in the 3rd, and he was known for his 3rd house is the house of knowledge and learning, and so he was also big in that, and that's how he got to his fame. And so altogether it's a very interesting chart, and I thank people for listening tonight. I should just say one thing, besides that, it's not really an inventor's chart so much, so you have to always look at another thing, that in his chart, you ask where the madness came from. You look in his chart, he's got Pluto almost exactly on the ascendant, and also, Uranus there, the planet. So he very interesting combination there, especially in the sign of Taurus. And so he actually made a tremendous amount of money. At one time he almost became the world's first billionaire. Westinghouse, I think, wanted to buy out all his contracts and all his, all his discoveries and give him a ton of money. And you see that he has Uranus and Taurus on the ascendant, a tremendous revolutionary, wanted to change things. Pluto exactly on the ascendant. Again, you made him a person, so when you have the two outer planets, you can be, it can sometimes be difficult. And this chart really, well, let's leave that for now. But we see you have to take into account, besides that Venus there, there's this other side to him, where he had two of the modern planets extremely strong. And on his ascendant, so it made him very, very unusual type of man. And I thank everybody for listening.